What is happening, Mr. Mark Bare Naked Willie? How are you today, my friend?
Well, I'm here, Dave, and let's hope that the Wi-Fi keeps me on with you. Love the background. Happy BS Friday Live to you, Dave.
Yeah, happy BS Friday Live to you as well. As always, we have another great show coming up for everybody today. We're going to be talking about another event. It is event season, Mark, but I mean, how many can we possibly do?
Well, we've been doing it for 2 and some odd years, and given our last meeting, we got a lot more coming up.
We do have a lot more coming up. Hey, do you know that skyline in the background? It's kind of hard to see. Take a guess.
I keep looking at how good your beard looks. Yeah, the background looks like a beautiful 312 skyline.
312 Skyline. That must be the area code for Chicago.
That is.
It is, because we're going to be in Chicago for this event here soon. So that's exciting. All right, Mark, what have you been up to? Where are you at today?
Today I'm live on the Dave Cooper show, and I'm still in travel mode. So we gotta keep as the wrestling world calls it, parts unknown. There, and I'm traveling next week, but I'm not quite traveling like you are.
Oh no, I'm traveling starting tomorrow. We're going to Switzerland, baby.
I think it's like so exciting. I'm going to be traveling and stalking your social media so I can virtually enjoy the wonderful learning experience you're embarking on.
Yeah, we got a big shout out to Etienne Siga. You know, we have a big trip planned with a whole lot of YouTubers and other people in this space that are constantly promoting building it better. Some of the build team's going to be there from Matt Reisinger's group and so on. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We'll be there all week, bringing you all kinds of great building science and inside looks at manufacturing, modular buildings, as well as I'm sure we'll be at the SIGA headquarters again, up in my game on my air bossing. Because I'm an air boss, you know, I'm an air boss.
The air boss Cooper. I'm sure we're going to have some surprise lives and things like that. So today we have people on the YouTube. We have people on the Facebook.
We do.
We have people on the Twitter, on the Twitch, and of course, on the LinkedIn.
That's right. And if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, you're wrong. You need to subscribe to our YouTube channel. But after this show, because we got some very important people getting ready to join us here in just a few moments. We are growing, we are expanding, and we're having a lot of fun doing it. And Mark and I are super grateful for all of you out there. If you have a question, put a Q in front of your question when you put it in the comments. But otherwise, just let us know that you're there. Let us know where you're from. Hit that like button, the clap button, and also, most importantly, comment. Because if you comment, other people get to meet you. And when other people get to meet you, guess who gets to do business with each other? You do.
You do. How do you do? Just like that.
We do. All right,
speaking of connecting with people, Dave, the very first Phiuscon conference that this person attended, I got to meet, and our guest today doesn't know we have a special surprise. So I met this talented, experienced individual at that PHIUS conference, and love to welcome her to the show and do a surprise introduction for our presenter today, if we could, Dave.
We could. Well, why don't we do a drum roll? I'll do the drum roll, and you do the announcement. You ready? Who is it?
Lisa White.
What's happening, Lisa? How are you today?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Yeah, doing amazing. Doing amazing. You were in the fish tank there. You were being so quiet. It was amazing. I was watching.
I wasn't sure if you could hear me, so I kept it safe.
That's okay. So Lisa, thank you for joining the show. We're so happy that you could take a few minutes to do this introduction for our next guest. So Mark, unless you got something to say, I'm going to let Lisa jump right into it.
No, Lisa, you have the floor. Thanks for being here. This is going to be super exciting, and I'm glad you can offer up the surprise to our presenter today.
Yes, thanks so much for giving me the pleasure of introducing Al. Al is a new member of PHIUS Team. He's been with us for about 2 years now. Building performance enthusiast, yes. So he's on our technical research and certification team at PHIUS. He will admit he has a love for building science and especially energy modeling, which you might hear about today. But there's a lot more to him. So he's an avid sailor. He just completed a 189 nautical mile race on Lake Michigan, and they did finish over, I don't know, I think it was about 3 days. Maybe he'll tell you about that. Seems a little nutty to me. He's a bagpipe player, and we were just actually out at the Building Science Summer Camp, and I had the pleasure of hearing him play that this week. He is the informal leader of the PHIUS Lunch Club, which was coined maybe a year ago on Wednesdays. He is always the one finding the newest food in the area and bringing us there. And he is the proud owner of an avocado plant that lives at the office, which has been coined the Alvocado, and also the first PHIUS certified plant, informal certification with its certificate right there in the plant. So Al, Really unique guy. You guys are going to love him today. I'm sure he's got a lot of good things to tell you with a great sense of humor to follow it.
Al Mitchell, welcome to the show, my friend.
Hello. Well, thank you for the kind introduction, Lisa.
You're very welcome.
There was nothing better. Like I thought I heard it all, but the fact that there is an avocado informally certified plant at the PHIUS office, Al, you got a setup of a lifetime, brother. This is great.
Yeah, no, and I look at that thing every day as I'm sitting there at work, and I'm actually getting a little concerned whether it's our 20 or 30 BTUs of latent gain in the office that we don't need, but I'm happy he's hanging in there okay.
Oh, wow.
For everyone that doesn't understand that, that's why you're coming to the conference. He will explain the joy and dangers of latent loads.
I love it. Well, listen, Al, we appreciate you joining us today. We're excited to talk about latent loads because I had no idea what you just said. And I do this show nonstop with Mark Bare Naked Willie. But if it involves math, yeah, it's probably not going to work for me. And we're going to talk about PhiusCon because it is coming up 2022 in Chicago. As always, Lisa, thank you so much for your introduction. We really do appreciate you. And Al, your floor is yours. We want to know everything about you from the moment you were born to this very moment in time. Do not leave out any of the good stuff from the hospital, or we will call your mother and have her on the show, and that could be quite embarrassing. I'm sure we'll learn about some of your sailing experiences. Either way, Al, go for it. The floor is yours. Thanks, Lisa.
See you, Lisa.
Thank you.
No, yeah. Mitchell. I'm from born in the city, raised in the southwest suburbs. Details about my birth that might be important or entertaining are it was a cold but sunny January afternoon. So one of those days that we have in that Chicago whenever it's just too cold to snow. And both my parents were on staff at that hospital, so the entire process was a whopping $8. Today, I don't think you could have a kid for $8 anymore. Grew up in the southwest suburbs, like I'd mentioned, and did band and all the science classes I could take throughout high school, to the point where our high school actually started hiring kids who just graduated from there to work with the building team and the custodial team during the summertime is just summer work. And that's actually where I got my interest in buildings and building sciences and engineering. Was they said, well, what are you going to college for? And at that time, I wanted to go be a mechanical engineer and do cars. And they said, hey, yeah, come on in and you can hang out with the building engineers. And then after maintaining and cleaning boilers and fan coils and changing out air filters and all the air handlers in the building, I'd started to appreciate the people who are on the ground and working on these things, and how can I design to make sure that things are maintainable. And then also B, just set off that interest in how I could apply what I was learning in engineering school to buildings. So I ended up going to the Illinois Institute of Technology, where I got a bachelor's in architectural engineering, and was working for an engineering firm, and wanted to be a little more holistic to my approach. Ended up going to architecture school, and got inundated with the PHIUS crowd, and now I'm on staff at PHIUS. And yeah, that's like Lisa had said, I work on the project certification and then research, and really enjoy energy modeling and building science and having solid discussions, and just furthering and bettering the quality of our built environment. So I would say that's where I'm at these days.
Oh, I want to talk about sailing. 3 days on a boat, man. I'd be so sick. Yeah. I'd be 100 pounds later.
Yeah, no, I started sailing at scout camp, like every 15-year-old kid goes to scout camp. And I hadn't really considered racing before. And got invited to me and a friend were out for a little day sail, and we were just sailing along, and got invited into like a street race sort of thing, where two guys pulled up and said, we're racing, please join us, and started hanging out with them, and they invited me to come crew on this boat. So we sailed from Racine, Wisconsin, up and around Door County Peninsula down to Menominee, Michigan. It's called the Hook, and it took us 56 hours. So I enjoyed it, but I was grateful to see that land and kiss that dock when I got there.
bet.
So
It's a little bit of an endurance race than a
Yes.
street speed race. I've never
Yes.
seen a street race last 56 hours, but on water, I mean, good God, close quarters too, right?
yeah. So I was on a crew of 6, and we were on and off every 4 hours in groups of 3. So me and 2 guys were on watch while the other 3 got to sleep, and keep the bed warm for you. So,
Well,
I would
thanks
say
for that added
hot bunking, they
detail.
call that, right? Hot bunking.
So Phiuscon is all about sailing for 56 hours, right? Did I get that right? Am I on par?
Yeah, Phiuscon is like the sailboat race, where it's a little bit of an endurance experiment. There's so many things and so many topics covered, and you gotta be there and be committed to it to absorb it all, for sure.
Well, speaking of emissions down, right, and being prepared for something, you started preparing in high school, and there's no lesser emissions in the boating world than sailing. So practice what you preach and learn from Al. Like, this is great. Like,
Yeah.
we don't have this conversation on the show. This is the first, right, Dave?
Yeah.
It is the first. We've not talked about sailing. We've definitely not talked about 3 men hot bunking on a boat, and I mean, all that's brand new to this show. So I don't know if it's appropriate or not to know what happened on it. But
Yeah. No, and in the boat, so the sailboat that I ended up buying too, the emissions down was definitely something I considered in that process. I found an old boat sort of towards the end of her life cycle in a junkyard, and I said, okay, well, the emissions have already happened. I can grab this boat and continue it forward. And then usually boats of that size will have a small diesel or a little gas auxiliary motor in them. But the guy who had this one before me swapped it out for a 6 kW electric motor with some batteries. So
wow.
I am completely emissions free in my sailing experience.
You are wind powered and 6 kW. Yeah.
So it's like 10 horsepower roughly.
So I have to ask, because we're already off subject, which is great because people want to meet you. Is the boat have a name, or is that top secret? Like, if you don't know the secret Al handshake and you haven't seen the avocado plant, you don't get to know the name of the boat?
No, and actually the name of the boat was the other selling point for me. Every once in a while, one of those things happens where it just feels like the stars have aligned and God sets you on some kind of a path. I found a boat that was the exact model I was looking for with the electric inboard that I was interested in. And it's a black boat, which is uncommon.
Yeah.
Named Rascal. And I had a black lab Rascal growing up as a kid. So it felt right, and convinced the wife to jump aboard, and now we've.
How big of a boat is it, Al? Just
she's
curious.
a 30-footer. Yeah.
30
Oh,
footer.
there's room for Dave and I. This is great.
Yeah.
Plenty of room. Hey, listen, some of the greatest people I know are sailors, when I was in the service and what have you. I personally, not a chance. I mean, if we're moving, I'm good. You're going to stop and we're going to do this, I'm chumming. We're shark fishing at that point. But
last time Dave was on a boat, they named a series after him. He was with Gilligan and the skipper, and they got stranded for quite a while. So
they did. Well, we're stranded on the beginning of this show. We better get to it. All right, Al, you're here for several reasons. One, because we have a new announcement coming up, right, for the show, PhiusCon Chicago 2022, as everybody can see down below in the logos we have up there. And the title of this conference is Emissions Down, Power Up. Mark would say emissions up, powers down, or did I get that wrong?
Yeah, I get everything wrong, and it's okay, because the marketplace gets a lot of stuff wrong. And the thing is, I say what's going on, right, is emissions are way up, and humans, us and our buildings, should be powering down our usage. But Phius put together just a brilliant use of words to say emissions down, power up, meaning let's, I have to think power up means let's electrify. I haven't heard that directly from them. Those are my words, but the emissions down is epic. And, Dave was at the Terrytown conference last year when it was in New York. And so coming to Chicago for this, Al, it's pretty epic because a lot of the team is in Chicago, so that you guys can concentrate on the massive workload that you're already under, and jump into the show versus dealing with it. It's arduous, to have shows in other parts of the city. There's a lot of management and time that goes in. So I think it's really wonderful that you guys are able to foster that here in your hometown of Chicago.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and it's great to be on home turf, and anybody who wants to come and explore like the local Chicago cuisine, like Lisa said, we do lunch club, and I've got plenty of recommendations around the hotel for like my favorite Italian beef and whatnot.
Wait a minute. Stop right there. Okay. Is it Al's beef?
No.
Oh.
Al's beef and I do not get along, and it's very frustrating because of the namesake. No, the giardiniera is not quite right for me. So
I don't know if Dave knows what giardiniera is. So over by PGH Pittsburgh, they have sandwiches that are different. I don't think the whole country has giardiniera.
Yeah,
No.
I don't know what giardiniera is.
No, and when I lived in Indiana for a little bit doing grad school, I found this thing at the store called Italian or Chicago style Italian sandwich pepper mix, which was giardiniera, but
Right.
it's chopped pepper, cauliflower, and carrots, and it's all done in like an oil brine, and you put it on sandwiches. It's like a pepperoncini with a pizza, just hot peppers, So
Yep. And
no,
there's
but
mild to whatnot. So you don't care for the giardiniera
Al's beef.
of Al's beef. Dave is on Google looking up giardiniera right now.
I am.
So sorry, folks. We're in a beef discussion. In Chicago, there's beef sandwiches and there's sausage sandwiches and there's combos. People call it a hot dog city. They have no idea what they're talking about. So can you tell us real quick your favorite beef sandwich and how you order it and where it's from?
I am a big fan of Luke's on Jackson in the south end of the loop there, and I like mine lightly dipped, not dry, but not dipped completely either in the jus, because I still want to eat it as a sandwich. And then I like the hot peppers, the giardiniera, and the sweet peppers as well, which are just like grilled bell peppers. And the Chicago way to order that would be to go up to the counter and say, "Can I get a beef sweet hot and dipped?" And you can just say those 4 words, and they'll know exactly what you want.
I love how you started out saying total Chicago statement there, Dave. In the South Loop there, right? Because we always give the direction. It's over by there, right? Like no one else understands that.
Yeah.
Also, can you describe the bread? So all the places have different giardiniera, but is their bread the dry, crispy bread from you know where, or is it the other one?
Yeah, it's like the Toronto style.
There it is. Name dropper.
Yeah.
Now I'm hungry. Okay, so in October, folks, when you lean your forearms to the edge of the counter and you lean over and bite the sandwich, make sure Al's next to you, and then go to the next place because there's hundreds of ones to compare. So bring your appetites for electrification, energy efficient buildings, and killer beef sandwiches.
Killer beef sandwiches. All right, now I am hungry, so we're gonna have to get this show moving because I want to eat something. I'm sure we made everybody else hungry. By the way, Al, you should be a food critic. The way you explain things truly made me hungry. So excellent. All right, let's talk about PhiusCon. What's going on there, Al? What's your role at PhiusCon?
So yeah, at PhiusCon, I do have a presentation about our new retrofit standard we're coming up, but then all of the Phius staff is here to help everybody and make sure everybody gets to the sessions they need to go and everybody's prepared for what they need to do. So there's a whole bunch of different topics going on, a whole bunch of different presentations happening over the couple days there. And yeah, it's very, very exciting.
So I tell you what we can do is I can share this. Why don't we take a look at what is happening there to give people kind of an inside look? Is that okay?
Perfect.
Yeah.
So in fact, let me do it this way. I think it'd be better.
So this starts out right out of the gate. You got to get your butt over there at 6:45, right? I mean, talk about learning central. That means you have breakfast, you've had your walk, you've had your yoga, you've meditated, and at 6:45, it's game time.
Yeah. So these first 2 days, starting at that 8 o'clock there with the Passive House 101 or the pre-conference, and at pre-conference we've got more time to run into some deeper workshops. So there are some workshops here that are full day, there are some that are half day, and they're covering all kinds of exciting things like the new prescriptive path that we released with the 2021 standard and how to work that calculator. There's a boot camp about developing multifamily. There's a whole dive into all of the policy that's happened with PHIUS and getting into the stretch code. And like Mark was saying, it's excited to be on home turf in Chicago. The city of Chicago added us PHIUS as a standard in their stretch code, so you can comply with energy code in Chicago by doing the PHIUS program.
Which for folks in other markets, I would always attest that Chicago is the strictest building code in the country. They have incredible standards for safety. We had a cow knock over a lantern once, so safety is important. And the building code there is really showing not only the state and the Midwest and the country, but they're saying that they recognize the importance of the passive house standard. So that's an amazing achievement. I didn't want that to go without having the megaphone and repeating it. I love to repeat things because my attention span's horrible. So congratulations on that, Al.
Thank you. Yeah, and as I like to tell people, looking at the Chicago building code, you burn your city down once and they'll never let you forget it. So
yeah, for sure. And let's, another big draw for people are the keynote speakers. Why don't we touch on the keynote speakers as well, Al?
Oh, you're going to see some familiar names here, Dave. This is really interesting. Yeah. Go for it, Al.
Yeah, we got Andreas Holm from Germany, who's got a lot of great experience and work, and especially with his work at Fraunhofer. John Wolfling, we're in charge of that holistic approach for buildings. Christoph Stump.
He's an AIA fellow out in New York, I think. Yep.
Yeah. We got Alan Gibson, who's on our PHIUS board of directors. He's a runs a design build firm out in Maine.
Yep.
And has done a lot of passive projects.
Oh, look at this guy. Graham Irwin. Boom.
Yep. Out of Northern California. Great guy to have contacts out there, and also a lot of passive experience there as well.
And before you throw the screen up, Dave, you know who this is? He was just on the show last week.
Who? I don't know who you're talking about.
And Al was probably talking beef sandwiches with him over in Massachusetts at summer camp. Scroll it up, Dave. This is great. A lot of keynotes. No, the other way. The other up.
Allison Bales.
The other way up.
Yeah, and those of you who haven't heard Allison Bales speak, talk about a fellow who's very engaging and very knowledgeable on this topic.
Yep. And I don't know Laura. Wow. Architect, passive solar. Sweet. Yeah. So we don't hear enough about that.
No, she's an early adopter of that passive building and has got a lot to say about that legacy and how it's evolved over the past many years.
I'll have to show you a book sometime, Al. The very first DOE, whatever it was called then, it wasn't DOE, but the very first book that they issued of the passive solar is my reference book. And
really?
And it's, I mean, the thing is like an early Bible. It's really sweet. And I'll let you do this last one because this is really cool.
Yeah, and then of course our executive director and co-founder Kat Klingenberg. Nobody really better embodies the spirit of passive building and can explain it to you at the very precise and well rehearsed way, because she's been preaching about this for years now. So
Beautiful. I love the new graphics, how that rolls through. Everything about that layout is great. That's a lot of keynote speakers, but it's also, when you look at it, it's a long conference.
It
Right?
is.
So it's not rushing through things. And part of that is the amount of material you guys are covering, but it's also about the relationships and the work that gets done during the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
No.
and there's more, Mark. I don't want to jump off this website too fast. There's actually design competitions going on at this.
Keep
Yes.
rolling it out.
Yeah, I think we things are still open to submit to the design competition, but there are entries there where you can submit your project, and we have a very rigorous panel of judges who will sort through these and give out the awards to those who are submitting the best.
If you could keep on that picture real quick, there's a funny story here. I know the one gentleman is Dan Whitmore. I don't know the other gentleman. So there's a line that we use all the time, Al, that is Dan Whitmore's line. So, you know, in terms of giving credit where credit is due, my favorite line of Dan Whitmore, and you probably know this, Dave knows this, is when someone asks, how much does it cost? And Dan will say, how much for a bag of groceries? My favorite Dan Whitmore line of all time.
Wow. That is very concise and distilled, isn't it?
It is very concise. I'm still stuck on sandwiches, personally.
There you go.
Yeah, why got to bring up groceries, Mark? Come on.
There was a fellow bagpiper in that picture before, Mr. James River Architects Hartford. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's what Henry Mickelberg has to say about bagpipes. Love sailing, hate bagpipes, feeling unbalanced.
So do you know what a building scientist and a set of bagpipes have in common?
Oh, joke time.
Are they both full of hot air?
Bingo.
Jerry, since we're having one of those shows, Jerry Mackay, he has a joke for us as well. He wrote, "Good morning, folks. Quick joke. The Irish gave the Scottish bagpipes as a joke, but Scottish haven't got the joke yet."
No, they surely haven't. No, and for clarity too, the type of piping I do is uilleann piping, which is the Irish version of the pipe. So we gave the Scots the war pipes, what everyone recognizes as a bagpipe, which is loud and was meant to scare the living bejesus out of your enemies. But uilleann pipes are a more refined and cultured thing, like Irish whiskey versus a very peaty Scotch. We're refined and smooth, you know.
Jeez, we went from sandwiches, we didn't even get to bite one, and now you're talking about the bourbons we're gonna have. Good night, Al. You're gonna be fun in October. I'm telling you, if you're not sponsoring or exhibiting for PhiuscCon, now that you've met Al, get your butt over there, because that's a reason in and of itself. My gosh.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Jerry Mackay also says, when I hear PHIUS, I keep hearing PHIUS. But then again, they're complementary to each other. So fully integrated offsite system, solution. That's what Jerry's all about. So that's why. Funny.
The battle of the F's and the PH's never stop, right?
It doesn't.
Speaking of great quotes, my favorite quote of Jerry's is precision equals performance. And that also is something is echoed by the Passive House Institute US group, PHIUS.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
What's up, Joel? Say hi to Shannon. Pendleton's with us. What's up, Shannon? I already saw Buzz up there. Just got to get through a couple of these real quick. We've been chatting a lot. We got Mo Fetter as well. What's happening, Mo? From New Jersey.
Over by there. Yeah, he looks like a Jersey guy, doesn't he?
Yeah, the number one shop class teacher in the world right here, Matt Bloomquist.
Absolutely. And I believe Matt is going to be at the conference, Al. So he's doing a high performance home and planning a net zero home. And they build those down in Taylorville, you know, kind of like Taylorville is maybe 25 minutes from either Peoria or Decatur. I'm logistically challenged, people.
Okay, yeah.
Totally logistically challenged. Google Taylorville and you'll find where Taylorville is.
Yana, good to see you, Yana. All right, awesome. All right, so we got a bunch of other stuff to get through here. We're already at 35 after. What are you thinking, Al? What do we got to cover? What, and you got to explain the mathematical thing you said in the beginning.
Latent load.
Latent loads, yeah. So I think we had talked about that bridge track, yeah. So
The bridge track, you said it's really exciting and it's new, but I don't think we covered
I don't think we mentioned it here yet. Yeah, no, real quick. So the core conference is that Thursday, Friday. Oh, just south of Springfield. Okay, cool. Yeah, the core conference is Thursday, Friday, October 27th and 28th. And then I believe there's some tours that following Saturday as well. And at that core conference, we have a bridge track that's meant for anybody who's in the building industry, whether you're a builder, a carpenter, maintenance guy, what have you, and you want to get you're new to passive building. So this is going to help build that fundamentals and help you get a better understanding of what we're going to talk about. And then that's supposed to set you up to really get the most out of your technical sessions on Friday as well. So that's new and exciting at conference this year.
Also new and exciting, I'm supposed to bring up, Jenny made sure I say this. So when you go to the PHIUS website, you saw that Al mentioned that at the conference, there's the PHIUS 101. On the website specifically now, you can actually sign up for a PHIUS 101. I believe that's called PHIUS 101, Al. And your group or your team or your municipality or your firm or whatever it might be, they can have that together with the representative of the PHIUS community.
Yeah,
great.
Yeah, no, and that's
great. We got Greggy Gaudi in the house too. I love the Rascal and Other Boats, Windy City sandwiches, bagpipe jokes. What a fantastic show! What's happening, Mr. Greggy Gaudi? He is the myth, the legend, right there.
Absolutely.
Right.
Thank you for being here week in and week out, Craig, and all the work you do. Always a thumbs up to and from Craig and our friends at the NAHB. Love what you do.
Yep. Can't change policy without you guys. So we look forward to working with all of them in the future to make big changes. All right. So Al, what else we got going on?
Yeah, there's the pre-conference workshops we talked about. And then, of course, always exciting for everybody, there's that exhibit hall where all of our exhibitors and sponsors are going to be there with their products to present. And if, just like any other trade show, you get to walk around and talk to the guys and really get into their brains and figure out what's the product they're talking about. Why do I need that product in my building? Our big core sponsors that are going to be there exhibiting as well that we'd like to thank would be Mitsubishi Electric, Rockwool 475 High Performance Building Supply, and Zender North America.
Yeah,
so
yeah, a lot of people here.
Yeah, everybody big, and especially those people who are really innovating and trying to push the envelope. Pun intended.
I'm happy to say almost all these folks we've had on the show so far.
Yeah.
So great. Very familiar names here.
Yeah, and if you are at all interested in exhibiting or sponsoring, we still do have some space available for that. There's more information on the website, or you could email Michael Franco, and I think we've got that email on one of the tags here, mfranco@phius.org.
Oh yeah, go right to Michael and tell him you're in, like Flynn. Michael's a cool cat. He's presented before, and now the world has your email, Michael.
Yep. And I'm putting it up there. Give me 1 second. I got it right there. To sponsor support, contact mfranco@phius.org, PHIUS.org. M. Franco, as in Franco Harris, Hall of Fame football player, right?
Absolutely. And who did he play for, Dave?
Oh, I think a little team with only a couple Super Bowls, Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, PGH. That's exactly right.
Right.
Always football facts on BS Friday Live, and never from me.
Football facts, sandwich facts, bourbon facts. Al, we're going to have you on once a week just so that I can know where I'm going to eat and what I'm going to drink every day. I think it'll be helpful.
Yeah, I want to go back to that for a minute, Al. So if people are looking, I mean, there's no time to have lunch during PHIUS conference, but if they're looking to grab a Chicago kind of meal and a Chicago kind of feel in the proximity of the Palmer House, where would they go? Putting you on the spot. The
Oh
taste
yeah,
buds are salivating. The
there's
jardinere is moving.
yeah. I can feel the jus, which is probably about 50% of my blood
Jus.
flowing around. There's a place. There are two real special Chicago restaurants right near the hotel. One of which is the Berghoff, which is traditional German fare, and
Totally.
they have a brewery there as well. I think that's fantastic. And then if you want the old style kind of Chicago pub feel, there's Miller's Pub, both of which are about probably under a 5-minute walk from the Palmer House. So
Old style. It's our great beer, and you
Yeah.
can't have it. My favorite commercial ever. Now that you mention these places, we always have these wonderful brands like Minotaur and all the folks sponsoring. But where we're lacking is we don't have Berghoff and we don't have Luke's and we don't have the bourbon companies sponsoring. So, Dave, time to get more sponsors. These are perfect sponsors. It's not just our buildings we live in, but it's the libations and whatnot we enjoy together. And everyone is gonna want to buy Al a drink to get more stories out of him in October. I can guarantee that.
That's
no,
it.
and that's the exciting part too. Is I think that's the joy of having these conferences where everybody gets together and you can sit down and have a conversation and come up with new ideas and come up with solutions and figure out new research questions that you want to come. And that's just all about that community that's really pushing our industry forward.
Amen.
And what about the fun? What about the fun? What about the get-togethers in the evenings? All the things that happen off of that schedule right there. You guys have anything planned, or just kind of group dinners together?
There's a lot of impromptu stuff that happens by people getting together and hanging out, and I'm sure that the building science boogie band's going to show up and want to jam at the hotel as well. So there will be fun. Exactly what I do not know, but I can guarantee that you'll have a good time.
Yeah, some of that is part of the suspense because there's so much education that the fun is rolled in. You can expect it with this group because everyone works hard and they need to play hard. And on Saturday, when the tours go around, I believe it's probably some sort of a bus or something where everyone jumps in together. You're gonna be sitting next to someone you know or someone you don't know. They're going to welcome you, and you're going to be talking shop, and you're going to be geeking out on everything you heard during the week. Relationships are continued, relationships are born, and missions up. Missions up. I just said it again. Jenny's going to kill me.
It's right there on the screen. You just have to read it.
Yeah,
that's the hard part. Yeah,
it is. My learning disabilities are in front of me. It is Emissions Down, Power Up. It is Phiuscon, October 25th through the 28th. It is your chance to exhibit. It is your chance to learn and connect, and it is your chance to sponsor. Berghoff, I can't wait to see your name in lights.
Yeah, me as well.
So, Dave, you're embarking on a trip to Europe. I know that you guys are jumping on a plane with Ben Boogie and some other folks that Al was just chumming along with in Summer Campville.
Yep.
I'm sure you're excited. Is there anything you want to tell us, or any highlights we should be looking out for? Your feed's going to be nuts over there.
It is going to be nuts. I mean, we'll be doing some feeds, obviously some live shows while we're over there. The timing may be a little off, just depending on how the day wraps up, because we're all touring on a bus and what have you. So super excited about that. But yeah, Ben's going to be there. Kyle Stumpenhorst is going to be there. Other people from the Build Show are going to be there. So we're just really looking forward to it. Then there's a lot of new people this trip, right? We have some different people than we had from our last trip. So
Jake Bruton,
Bruton's he was on the last trip. He's going to be there as well. Yep. I'm really looking forward to hanging out with Jake, man. We were having a good time, and then we got cut short because of COVID.
Jennifer Cooper, Aaron Jones, Chris of Live Free, and there's a sea of people. The Pioneer Builders, the Awesome Framers, right? All those kind of.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
kids
for
are
sure.
hanging out. Okay.
Yeah, we'll be doing some stuff. Tomorrow morning is a travel day for us, so I got to be on a plane at 10:30. So the odds of me going live tomorrow morning are probably slim to none. Maybe I'll just do a quick post of us running through the airport trying to carry all of our camera gear and all that.
And
That's
then
always fun.
maybe Al and I will do a post where we're fighting over Luke's to see who could finish their beef sandwich faster. When you get the beef sandwich, do you get the combo or just the beef?
Sometimes I'll get the combo, but usually, like if it's a regular day and I just need lunch, I don't want to do that. It's too much. It might be too much sometimes.
If I get the combo, I only need like 4 fries. I eat them anyway, but I don't need them all. But the combo, oh man, like it's almost like it's what gets the blood boiling.
And fair warning to anybody who does come and goes to Luke's and has the sandwich, the fries. Share, I think there are many of them in that little bag they give you. So.
Awesome. So make sure you register. The price is on the site. The opportunities are there. It will definitely sell out. I shouldn't say that, but I'm pretty sure it will sell out. It was such a success in New York. It's an easy place to get to in Chicago. If you're going to walk to the conference, start walking now. If you get there ahead of time, we'll have meals together. If you're going to fly, I hope your arms rest because you're going to take a lot of notes before you get in. And if you're on a sailing trip, make sure you think of Al and the wonderful stories that he's given you today to prepare yourself.
Yeah, I agree. Al, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate you, man.
Thanks for having it. I'll see everybody in Chicago in a couple months.
Yeah. Hey, make sure you check out our site. We've been releasing videos from our London tour. Some really great stuff in there as well. So go to our YouTube channel and check it out. Make sure you subscribe. Go to that BS Friday playlist. There's a lot of them in there for you to watch. So if you missed this one or any ones that you want to see before this, we probably have it in there. So go and check it out. Mark, thanks, man.
Thanks, Al.
Thanks, Al. Appreciate you. Everybody else, have a wonderful afternoon. We will talk to you soon. Bye now.